Hi, welcome to day 2 of the Sleepyhead nightgown sew along. So yesterday we talked about fabrics. You can check it out on the blog, but kind of the fabrics you can use. I know there's always questions on if you can use flannel or fleece, and so I covered some of those things yesterday. The fabric I'm actually using, I've got this really cute knit print from Peekaboo Pattern Fabric Shop. And this gray as well I got from Amy over there. Great fabrics. They're a little bit lighter weight than I would typically use for a winter pajama, but you know, my kids have a lot of blankets. I'm not too worried about it. She's going to have long sleeves. It's going to be fine. So today we're actually talking about adding an applique to the nightgown. Applique is a great way to personalize a nightgown, and since this is the holiday season, we're going to do kind of this little reindeer applique, and this pattern is free on our blog. Just head over there. The link is up in the description, and you can download this, print it off. You might have to make it larger or smaller depending on your little one as to how big you want it on the nightgown. My daughter I'm making her a size 4 or 5, and so this size is good for her. If you're making a 12, you might want to blow it up a little bit when you're printing. If you're making a 12 month, you might want to make it just a little bit smaller. That's kind of your choice. But so I have my pattern pieces for the applique already cut out. They're all cut out, ready to go. The first thing that I did is decided on my fabrics for the actual pieces of the applique. For the head, I used a light brown. I used a dark brown. Oh, you can't see that. I already cut some of them out. I used a darker brown. And then for the eyes, I used black, and the nose, I used red. And then if you want, you can get a little piece of ribbon. I would suggest getting a ribbed ribbon. Not like a satin ribbon, because they don't wash as well, but I'm using a satin because I didn't have anything else. So, and you only need a small amount, and that's just for the bow on the reindeer's head. So the first thing you are going to want to do is you're going to need a little bit of heavy duty Wonder Under, and I got this at Joann's. You can buy an entire bolt of it. And as you can see, my bolt is kind of running low. I do a lot with this. I use it for appliques. I use it for, sometimes it's easy to draw a pattern out on this and then fuse it on. There's lots of things that I use it for, but mostly for applique. And so you're going to take your piece of fabric and you're going to fuse the Wonder Under to the wrong side of the fabric. So make sure that you don't fuse it. If you're using a print, make sure you don't fuse it to the print or you'll be sorry. So you fuse it on there, and then fuse meaning iron, sorry. And then you're gonna peel off, and it seems as though mine maybe needs to be ironed a little bit better. You're gonna peel off the white of the Wonder Under, and underneath should be, there it goes. There's kind of this shiny, can you kind of see the difference? There's the fabric, and then there's this shiny section, and the shiny section is the section that's going to iron onto your fabric. And then you can add your pattern piece, pin it on there. And really, I guess you don't have to take the white backing off until after you cut. I guess it doesn't really matter, one way or the other. And then you're going to pin your pattern piece, and then cut your pattern piece off. Simple as that. So I'm going to quickly cut out the head of my reindeer. Now, I actually used this, shared this applique pattern, 3 years ago maybe. I don't know, I'd have to look it up officially. And I just hand drew it, and then I shared it on my blog. And it's been one of the most popular blog posts that I have, partially because the pajamas turned out so stinking cute, and I think there's a lot of inspiration that way. And you can check out, I'll link that blog post up there too, so you can see it. I made a green and like chevron pajama for my daughter, and then a red with white and red stripes for my son, and it was like, I still think that's my favorite pajamas I've ever made for them. They turned out so good. Okay, so cut out my piece, and there he is. So there's the right side, and then there's the shiny side that has the Wonder Under on it. Okay, and then you'll do the same thing for all your other pieces. I already did that, so you don't have to sit here and watch me cut everything out. But I'll pull this stuff up. And if yours sticks like mine, you can take a pin and just kind of score the back of that Wonder Under and make kind of a little slice. Can you see that? And then it'll just peel off a lot easier, because sometimes it's hard to get a corner that's fused all the way, so it just peeled right off, so that's nice. And especially when you do these little teeny tiny eyeballs, for whatever reason they don't like to peel off all the way, at least in my experience. You might be a Wonder Under expert and know better than me how to get stuff off. But okay, so now I have those pieces, and I'm ready to put them on to my pattern. Okay, so we've cut them out, and now I put them on the pattern. Let me just show you here, or on the top. So this is my front of my nightgown. Sorry, I'm trying to show you here. And I just laid the pieces out. Now, to figure out where to put your applique, I usually start by going about 2 inches down from the top. And then I always line it up with my armholes. So where my, sorry, my 4-year-old's telling me her door show didn't pause, but yay, good things. And then I line it up where my underarm, this is where my armpit would be. And when you look at actual t-shirts and patterns and all that fun stuff, that the applique is usually centered about at the armpit. And that seems pretty consistent for me, at least. So I'm going to put you back up right here so I can see you. Okay. We're a little off center, but that's all right. So the next thing that you're going to do, once you figure out where you want your pattern, you're going to iron it to your fabric. Okay, so it's been ironed on, and you can see it's not going anywhere. Okay. You wouldn't necessarily have to stitch over this, but it's not going to last very long in washing. So I would highly recommend at this point, you get out your sewing machine and you stitch around the applique. You don't necessarily have to do a zigzag stitch all the way around, kind of like on an embroidery machine that would zigzag it all the way around. You could just do a straight stitch all the way around, but this is a knit fabric, and so it's gonna stretch as the child or whoever is wearing it. So you want to make sure that the stitches can stretch a little bit. So keep that in mind as you're actually sewing. So once you have that sewn, then you can move on to our next step, which is putting your sleeves and your neckline and your side seams in, and then you're done. So I always do my applique before I sew the rest of my project together, because it's a lot easier to get it under the machine like this than trying to figure out how to get it under with the sleeve in the way and the neckline. And so I always do it first and then come back. That's why it's important to know how high up you want it, and where your armholes are. So we will see you tomorrow for day 3 of our sleepyhead nightgown. So long.